Hello, greetings, and once again, welcome back to the course. This is basically the American Accents 101 segment of the course. And so essentially, we will learn a bit more about the different kinds of the American accents. So, for the purposes of this lesson, we will review the essential characteristics, the Midwestern accent, the New Yorker accent, the Southern accent, and the Californian accent. So, let's see if we can get started. Yep, so I mentioned all of those here. Pretty good. Oops. All right, so basically with the essential characteristics, we have the following. So some of the most prominent features are that the short A sound is raised before nasal consonants. So a good example of that would be man, can, Sam, anything that ends with a negative consonant and starts with a short A sound. So whenever you consider this, please just think of eh, eh. Yep, like an, am, like that. Very good. Great. And another essential characteristic of the American accent is that it is rhotic. So that means that the R is pronounced at the end of words. Some good examples would be car, mother, star, far, further, things of that nature. So as we could see or hear from my voice, all of the words were pronounced with the R. So the R was emphasized in those words there. And so another essential characteristic is that words like lot and rod are pronounced with an unrounded vowel. So we have unrounded vowels here. So an unrounded vowel is basically a vowel that has not been pronounced completely. Yes, so we have lot, rod, cod, Todd, which is a very popular American name, and we have, of course, several others. And yep, and so the last prominent feature that we will cover is the diphthongs in words like boat and road is pronounced relatively back. Yes, so basically we have a diphthong, which is an extension or like a double vowel sort of. And so some good examples here would be, such as perhaps like toad or, really, really basic ones like that. Toad drove would be a really good one. And so as we can hear, the pronunciations are relatively back, so they are pronounced towards the uh, yes, towards the throat, so to speak. Road, boat. Yes, so there's a bit more of an accent on them, as we can see. And let's see if we can dive into the accents here. So the first accent that we have is the Midwestern accent. All right, and so essentially the Midwestern accent is the accent that is known as the most common or the default American accent. So that is essentially the accent that I am currently speaking in. So it is definitely worth copying if you would like to do that. So it's very, very popular. Uh, of course, so yes, so now you know this is not my real accent. So it's definitely something to take note of. Next up, we have the New Yorker accent. So the New Yorker accent is definitely communicated quite frequently in movies, things of that nature. Some good shows that feature the Midwestern accent are Seinfeld, The King of Queens, and All in the Family. You might be familiar with a film known as Goodfellas. So that is a very popular film as well. And so in the New York City English or the New Yorker accent, There is non-rhoticity, so that means that there is no the R uh, at the end of at the end of the word is not pronounced. So we could say New Yorker, New Yorker. Uh, so let's see if we can use an example from maybe like car, something like that. They would probably say car, car. So as we can hear, the final R is not pronounced. So that's just one of the characteristics of the New Yorker accent. Uh, and also, we have the next characteristic. So the long A in certain words are pronounced back and sometimes rounded. We have the word father, for instance. In the Midwestern accent, it would be pronounced as father, but in the New York accent, we would use father, father. Yeah, and so that's one of the examples here, followed by cart. So in the Midwestern accent, the word is cart, but in the New Yorker accent, it that word becomes caught, caught. So we can realize that the non-rhoticity extends into other parts of the word instead of just the final R. All right, and so those were some of the essential characteristics of the New Yorker accent. Let's see if we can dive into the Southern accent here. So, this is definitely the classic Southern accent that you might have heard about in a few films. Matthew McConaughey, I believe, is very famous for using this accent. So, that's definitely something to take note of. And so, similar to the New Yorker accent, the Southern accent is non-rhotic. So of course there is no linking R, so very well. So, so for instance, better idea would be pronounced better idea, things like that. And let's see. Oh, and we have vowel breaking. So, in other words, words that usually would not be uh, split into separate syllables would be split into separate syllables in the Southern accent. So, a great example would be like cat. So, in the Southern accent, it is cat, 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 things like that. And all the vowels tend to be pronounced longer, so hence the southern drawl, as you might have heard of. And so that concludes it for the southern accent. Finally, we have the Californian accent. So for the Californian accent, we just have two major characteristics that we will discuss here. So for the Californian accent, many of the sounds are pronounced uh, with the mouth open very widely. So, like for instance, we could say, I can't believe you did that. So it would be, yes, so that would be similarly to how a Californian would pronounce it. So it's more with an open mouth, very expressive, things like that. I can't believe you did that. So like that. And this one is a very popular one, especially among younger Californians. The end of the sentence tends to sound like a question. So, like for instance, we could say, "Oh, I don't really like hip hop." So let's go back to the Midwestern accent. We would say, "I don't really like hip hop." But the Californian would perhaps pronounce it as the following: I don't really like hip hop. So as we can hear, the sound was a bit raised because it was a question. And so that is it for the American Accents 101 section. Hopefully you really enjoyed it, and I look forward to chatting again with you when we cover part 3, which will feature the sample dialogues. All right, talk soon.